Hey guys, Rob here. Welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be my pack loadout for the Ocean to Lake Trail that I'm going to be doing soon. So we're going to go through all the gear that I'm bringing. Finally got it all figured out. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. All right, so I don't want to waste too much time going over a lot of stuff. I spoke in my last video and I said that I kind of went through a shakedown hike, even though I have my pack pretty much dialed down or dialed in. I wanted to test out a couple of different gear items that were things that I was considering swapping. So here we go right here. You guys see, this is not my typical pack that I've been using for the last year of 2025. This is a pack I was using for 2024, and this is the Nature Hike Rock 60. And I did a gear review video on this thing back when I first bought it, or after I put a bunch of miles on it, and this is a really comfortable pack. So I mentioned in my last video that I was considering purchasing or upgrading because I have the Osprey Talon 33 2025 edition, and I was thinking about getting the 44 liter of the 2025 edition just because that pack, the design is just really comfortable to me. Reason I was thinking about upgrading to that 44 liter capacity is just because I felt like with the 33 I can make it work, but I'm going on a 4-day trip, so I'm thinking 3 nights, 4 days. We may stretch it into a 5-day experience. It all depends on how I feel. I'm just gonna play it by ear, see what my body wants to do, and go from there. So I didn't wanna have everything crammed into that 33 liter because it was packed. I mean, I really couldn't get much more stuff in there, and that's including all my gear, food, everything. So I decided I was gonna give this pack a try. Now I do own the Osprey Atmos AG, that's a 65 liter pack. And it's just not as comfortable as the Talon series packs to me. And then also, it's not as comfortable as this pack. So anyway, long story short, this pack has more capacity and it's lighter. So, and I have experience with it. It's been good for me all before. So we're gonna run this pack for that trip here, and roll top design. Nothing too fancy. We spoke about this before. If you guys want, I'll put like a link to that video if you guys want an in-depth look at, or in-depth video on this particular pack. You guys go check that out separately. So right here you guys see this is everything I'm bringing, and this is the pack here. This is the back side. This is everything I'm going to bring, and this even has a 5-day food supply inside the pack as well. So there's no water here, save that for later, but this is everything minus water. So pack weight, without that food supply, we're sitting just under 20 pounds. So and that's even including with the trekking poles on the side here. So honestly, like, this is like a 19-pound loadout, minus food and minus the trekking poles. And you guys can see everything else that's out here on the outside of the pack, which we are gonna go through all that. So 19 pounds, not bad at all. Food supply, what I have here is 4.5 pounds of food, and I may tweak that a little bit depending. I'll wait till I get closer to my trip to really decide on what I'm bringing for the food, but I wanted to pack a little bit of food in there just to kind of simulate what my pack will be looking like. Let's go straight to the outside here. For my water purification and stuff like that, I have the grill. This is the GeoPress here, so I'll be bringing this with me. And then just in case, I've been really monitoring the Far Out app, and if you're not familiar with Far Out, it's an app that has the Florida Trail on there. You can download other trails as well, but it has the Florida Trail on there, and you can download each section, like the southern section, the Ocean to Lake section, all these different sections. And then you can go in there and it actually shows you locations where you can collect water, where you can camp at, roads, all kinds of information like that. And what's helpful too is that other people that have the app have the option to go on and leave comments. So, they can kind of let you know, hey, usually there's water at this one spot, but there's no water here, and I just passed by, let's say, a week ago. So really helpful. So I've been monitoring that to kind of see what my options are for water collection. Am I going to be wading through a whole bunch of water, so bringing this right here because this right here is the real deal in my opinion, and I know I'll get good safe drinking water out of this. Next item right here that we're going to talk about on the side pouch, which I'll have this in a more accessible area. It's going to be my can of bear spray. I've done research and stuff, and apparently there's not really many bears in that area, but there's always a chance. You know, there's a lot of black bear out here, so I'm gonna carry that bear spray on there with me for the trip. What I have here in the front pouch is my little sit pad. You guys have seen this a whole bunch of times. Matter of fact, I'm gonna use it for my knee. Oh, that's better. And then I've also got the smelly proof bags here. I have 2 bags. I have a smaller one and I have a bigger one like this here. And one I plan on using for all my trash. And the other, I may or may not use it as a wash bag because, like I said, 4 days, maybe 5 days. And with the clothing that I'm bringing, I may want to like wash my boxers and my socks or something real quickly because it's going to be kind of on the hot side, like upper 70s when I go. So I figured I might bring this just because it doesn't, you know, we're talking an ounce maybe between those 2 bags. So nothing else there. You guys see here on the side, just have my Black Diamond Explorer 3 trekking poles. And I really love these things. So we're gonna have these for sure. And then right here on the very top, you guys know me, I always have a chair. So I spent a lot of money on this chair and I plan on using it for this trip. I'm not gonna bring the bottom padding to keep it from sinking in mud, just because that shaves off a little bit of weight. And I figure, you know what, I'll just deal with whatever the situation is. This is a luxury item, so don't want to get too carried away with it because I do have a 62-mile hike. So I want to keep as many ounces off my back as possible. And then right here in the front, this pack has this little flap here. In this Ziploc bag is my water purification stuff. So keep it right here on the outside. That way, if I need to collect water, I can do so without having to dig through my whole pack. Bear hang, this is my food hang rope right here, 50 foot of paracord. This can also be used with this Grail in case I need to toss this thing into a canal and collect water that way. Now I'm reading that there's been a lot of gators and stuff on some of those canals and in the canals, and that it can be very sketchy getting up close to get your water. We'll see about that. I've been around a bunch of gators and stuff before. I'm not really too worried about it, but having this right here with the zip tie on there and this rope will make everything a lot safer. So have that here in this bag. And then right here, I also have, this is a Canuck water bladder, 2 liters. And I have the coupler, that way I can gravity feed. And then I have a sort of squeeze here. I've been using this thing for a long time, no issues with that. And then just a little cap that I made that screws onto the back of it, just to kind of help water from dripping back out of this thing if you have it put away. So all that stuff's right on the outside. Not sure, I have another 2 liter of this Canuck bag. Not sure if I'm gonna bring that, but most likely everything that you see here, I'm 99.9% sure that this is all I'm bringing. I don't really want to switch anything up last minute because I will have at least 2 smart water bottles with me, the 2 liter bottles. So that's going to be extra capacity. Going to the back side here, on the shoulder strap, I've got my little water bottle holder that I made. And then I have my camera mount for my GoPro. This is a ball swivel mount, so this thing can kind of move around. Or not for my GoPro, my DJI. How dare I say that? And this side here, this has a pocket. I have got my clip-on polarized lenses here, and then my hiking gloves. I obviously will be wearing these, but right there in the top will have my glasses in case I ever want to put those on. And then right here is the Garmin InReach Mini 2, right there ready to go. So I definitely will be having that for navigation and just emergency stuff. My wife can track where I'm at and see exactly where I am, just in case she's wondering or if there's any type of situation. Inside the pouches here, on the waist pouch, bandana, a red one, that'll be used for like sweat and stuff. Got my bear bell right there in the pouch. That way it's easy and quick access if I feel like I want to attach this onto my trekking pole, which by the way, I found that if you attach the bear bell to the trekking pole, it's way easier to make more noise that way, because you're literally banging your trekking pole as you move around. So that'll maximize your presence. Some people will put this on the backpack itself, which I find sometimes doesn't make as much noise. So I like to clip it on there, and then it's easier to take it off. If I want to just put this thing away, it's easier just to take it off that way. Mosquito net. I've never used this before, but there was a time that I wish I had this. It was low light conditions, and the mosquitoes just came out, man. I'm telling you, they were like trying to abduct me or something. It's horrible. And ever since then, I said, I'm keeping this in my pack no matter what, because it's just, you know, it's worth its weight. And the last item that I have in that pouch is going to be my knife. This is the old timer knife. This has 2 blades on it. I've got this blade right here, and then it also has another blade right there. Very sharp knife, and usually I keep this in my pocket. All right, so moving on to this side of the pocket here, on this side of the waist pouch. Hand sanitizer and a Ziploc bag full of electrolytes and little sugar-free juice packets and stuff like that. And I like to keep that in this pouch because it's just quick access. May or may not, you know, put a couple of snacks in here for the day. Like each day I might put like 2 or 3 bars or something in here, and, you know, just something else in there, you know, stuff that I'm going to use for the day. But that's that covers the outside of this pack. We're going to move on to the inside. All right, so as I said before, this is a roll top, so we're just going to unclip it. And that's nice because right now this is like 33 liters of gear that I have here, but I still have the option to go a little bit more if I needed to. So it's just nice that I don't have a backpack that's just like fully stuffed down. Most likely I'm going to end up buying that upgraded, the 44 liter Osprey. And I've also had my eye on the Durston Kakwa 55. That pack looks really good, and that's a really lightweight pack as well. So there's going to be a new backpack upgrade coming soon. So in this pack here, right on the very top, Durston X-Mid 1. This is a Gen 3 tent here, and I've slept in it a few times. I love it. Comes in under 2 pounds, and it's just a really nice tent and easy to set up. Now, in the last video, we used the, it was a Lanshan 2, and I was testing that out just because I had more space. But I found that the space was good, but there was like so much vestibule space. I felt like the tent took up a huge footprint. And since I'm gonna be like through hiking this trail, I'm not sure, are the campsites gonna be full of people? Am I gonna have to stealth camp somewhere, you know? So like having a large footprint, just, I don't know. I feel like I need to go with something smaller. So I decided I'm not gonna bring that Lanshan. I'm gonna stick to my Durston, and you know, this is the reason I bought it. I've got enough room to move around in it. I've got enough room to change my clothes and things like that. And it's also really easy to set up. And you know, 4 stakes, 6 at most, and you're good to go. Whereas the Lanshan, you need a minimum of 6 stakes to set it up, and it's a lot more tricky. But this one's lighter, it's easier to set up. I guess it's a no-brainer. So bringing my Durston for this trip here, and looking forward to using it. All right, so before we go any further, I'm gonna talk about my clothing and what I'm gonna be wearing. So you guys see here, I'm in my typical hiking clothes that you guys see me in pretty much every video. My shirt here, this is a Merino Tech wool long sleeve. Really like this shirt. It's great because it doesn't hold any body odor, and I can wear this, and I have worn it for days at a time, and it does not smell. You'll smell before this thing smells, and it dries out fast. So like when I'm sweating and stuff like that, it'll dry out in like 30 minutes or so. So I'll be bringing this for sure. Pants here, typical pants I always wear. These are the Wrangler ATG trail pants. And these things are incredibly light. They dry fast. They don't leave any sweat stains like from salt and stuff, which is nice. And they're just comfortable. So, I mean, I've had a tan color of these, and now these black ones, and I've been wearing these for about 5 years. So each pair usually will last me about 2 to 3 years. So I've been really happy with that. And then as far as my shoes go, you guys know Solomon's, these are the Gore-Tex, you know, the waterproof. So definitely will be bringing those, or bringing all this here with me. This is the most comfortable. As far as socks and underwear go, my socks, I'm going to be wearing these Hygiene toe socks. Reason being is one of the other trips that I did, I got like a little blister on my toe, and because I had to walk through a lot of water, and at the time I was wearing the Darn Tough socks, and I still got that blister. So I purchased these because I heard that these help really well with blisters because they're toe socks, and I did a good amount of hiking in these, and these were perfect. So I'm going to start off with these. I only have one pair, and then my second pair is going to be my Darn Tough socks. And as far as underwear go, or boxers, I've got these here. These are the Smart Wool boxers, nothing fancy. Kind of pricey, but you know, you're dealing with wool, merino wool, so it's gonna run up there in some money. So that's what I'm gonna have there. And there's also some clothes that I'm gonna change into when I get to camp at night, stuff I can sleep in. So we're gonna go ahead and get back into the contents here in just a second. All right, so moving on, I'm gonna pull out my food bag, and this is it right here. So this is a Sea to Summit Ultra Sil dry bag, and incredibly light, but I have all my food in here and stuff, and this is also what I'll be hanging all my stuff in a tree. I'll use this bag. Like I said, 4.5 pounds worth of food. I don't think I'm bringing all this. I might switch some things out for, you know, different options, but I just loaded up a 4-day food supply in here, 4 to 5 day food supply, and just to kind of see. So that's that. And then the next item that we have here, first aid slash gear repair. And before anybody comes in talking a bunch of stuff, there's always somebody. What I have in here is just the bare minimum, you know, just what I need. So right here on the very top, I have a Combat Advanced tourniquet, cat tourniquet right here, and it's already staged and ready to go. And the reason I don't keep that like anywhere else is because I don't want to get my medical stuff mixed up. I don't want to be in a situation of panic or whatever and forget, you know. If I know I have this red bag, I just need to get to this red bag. If I got to unzip it and just rip this thing open to get to stuff quickly, then I'll do that. But keep all that stuff in one. And then a bunch of Tylenol, Pepto-Bismol tablets, a couple of water purification tablets, Advil is also in there. So a bunch of pills and stuff in this bag. I'm not gonna pull everything out, but gear supplies, any emergency stuff, a couple of waterproof matches, emergency whistle, needle and thread, a little bit of medical tape, emergency fire starter, an extra grommet for my Sawyer squeeze. I got a pair of nail clippers in there because there was a time I had to trim my toenails on trail, and I was so grateful I had these nail clippers. Ferrocerium rod and some tweezers for ticks and things like that. A little bit of ointment and stuff like that in this one. This Ziploc bag has moleskin, which I actually need to add a lot more moleskin in here just in case, and just a couple of band-aids. I think in total is probably like 6 different size band-aids in here, not a lot. And then the rest is just like gauze. I have a mirror in here as well, in case you get something in your eye, or even if you had to use it as a signaling device, but mainly if you got something in your eye or whatever. And then also too, in the back is some Quick Clot. And this right here is a 4-foot, I believe. Yeah, so this is a 4-foot Quick Clot, and that's for heavy bleeding. So massive hemorrhaging, that's also what that tourniquet is for as well. And just a little bit of some compression bandage right here. So not a lot. This kit is very lightweight, and some might say this is overkill, but you know, this is what I feel comfortable bringing with me on all my trips whenever I'm out alone. And I will always bring this kit here. I've been carrying this thing for a long time, and it's just like, you know, leaving the house with your cell phone. Are you gonna leave your phone at home? You know, everybody brings their phone. So that's how I feel about first aid and medical and stuff, is don't leave it behind. especially if you're solo. Don't leave it behind. So putting all this stuff back, and we're gonna move on. Did forget that there is a little bit of like some tent repair stuff, you know, for the tent and also for sleeping pad. So we're gonna set that over there, right here in this bag. And now I'm gonna move this backpack out of the way because there's a little bit of contents in here I wanna show you guys. Another Sea to Summit bag. So right here on the top, this is gonna be like my toiletries and things like that, hygiene stuff, all inside this smelly proof bag. And then right here, in this bag is another Canuck water bladder. This is a collapsible one right here, and it goes to 25 ounces. And this is my emergency pee bottle in case I'm inside the tent and need to go really bad and can't or don't want to get out of my tent. That goes here. This is clean. Once I use it, obviously it'll get stored on the outside of my pack, but for now, it's in that bag and in that bag. And then another bandana right here. And this bandana will be used for if I need to like wash myself, wash my feet, things like that. You know, heard there's a lot of mud and stuff on the trail too, so I want to make sure I take care of my feet as best I can. Another item that I have over here is just my little hiking Bible here. This is my ultralight travel Bible. So that's there. And then this is a food item here. This is, instead of bringing, like people are making like pot cozies and stuff like that, or koozies, whatever you call them. I found this at Walmart years back and they were on clearance for $1 each. And this is just like a little insulated lunch bag. This works just as good. So really, really lightweight, folds up small. And if I had to guess ounces wise, I'm gonna say maybe 1 ounce on this thing. And then also too, to go along with my toiletries, is this trowel here. This is the Bogler Company trowel. Love this thing, man. This thing cuts through all kinds of roots and stuff. And it's, when I first got it and it was so lightweight, I'm like, man, this thing might blow away. It's like aluminum foil, but it's strong. And then electronics here. These are all my electronics, and this is not covering any of my camera equipment. None of that is included into the weight of this pack because I don't even know all what I'm bringing. I know I'm bringing a DJI and a tripod, but this is everything here. So as far as my electronics go, Nitecore stuff. I love Nitecore products. They didn't ask me to say any of this stuff. I've always liked their products. They've been good. You guys see I use it in all my videos. So continuing to use it. Headlamp, this is the Nitecore NU2021, I think. I can't remember. It's either the 21 or the 25, but it's easy to use. It's got a red mode and a white mode, and you just press either button to activate it. I don't like sitting there going through 10 different clicks and this and that, trying to figure out how to get the red light to go on. So this is really easy to use. It's bright and it lasts a while. Power banks, Nitecore. I mean, I've talked about these in my other videos. Nitecore Carbo 10,000 Gen 2 right here, fully waterproof. I've thrown this thing in trails full of water before, still works. Same thing with this one right here. This is the Nitecore NB 10,000 Plus Gen 3. This thing is great. Nitecore is actually sending me another one that I don't even think it's out on the market yet, but it's a Gen 4 version of this right here. So can't wait to play around with that thing and to see what it's capable of. So I'm gonna have 20,000, either these two or 3 10,000 milliamp hour power banks to make sure I can charge all my camera stuff, my phone and everything like that. But either way, I'm gonna have at least 2 or 3 of these. And then just a couple of USB-C cables to go with those to charge everything up. That's it. I'm not bringing any thermocell. I'm not bringing anything like that. So just, oh, I forgot one more thing. It's hiding in there. This is the Rovivon Aura 5, I believe. I'll put the name of it up on the screen. This little Rovivon light I've been using for the last year, and I usually will put it in my tent and just use the red light feature and just have it just shining down. But it also works as a really good 800 lumen flashlight. So really light. It's probably about the size and weight of a AAA battery. So that's just gonna stay in here regardless. If something happens to my headlamp, I've got a backup. All right, next piece of gear that we have in here is gonna be my food kit, or my cooking kit, I should say. And I have an extra can of fuel. I don't know, I'm on the fence about bringing 2 of these because I do have another one inside of here. But based off my days, I can get probably 8 to 10 ounce boils out of 1 can of fuel. So that's roughly 2 boils a day. So depending if it's windy or not, if I spill my hot water, you know, like that's me not having a way to make a meal. So I might bring this as a backup just in case. I don't think I'm gonna need it, but I'm thinking if I want like an extra coffee or something like that, I might want to bring that because then I know I'll have enough fuel. So on the fence about this, but most likely it's gonna come anyway. Plus, if I have an issue with the other can, never had any issues with isobutane canisters, but who knows. So in here, so just a Toaks titanium 750 pot. This is the standard pot right here. And then I'm using the, this is the Soto Windmaster stove right here. If I can figure out how to do it, there we go. So Soto Windmaster, really nice stove. I also have the Camping Moon stove, but I'm gonna bring the Soto for this trip here. I think it's probably a little bit more reliable. So that's it. I mean, I have a lighter in there, a spare lighter, fuel canister, and that's it. Reason I'm going isobutane on this trip, guys, is because I'm planning on doing like 15 miles a day for the duration, and it's definitely gonna be a lot of work for me. I'm not gonna lie about that, you know, but it's definitely gonna be an exercise. And when I get to camp, I may not necessarily want to be fiddling around with alcohol stoves and stuff. I might just want to just quickly get my water boiling and just eat. So one more thing that I have inside the pack are going to be these here camp shoes. These are the Z-Packs camp shoes, really lightweight, very basic shoe. Just in case, like my feet are wet, my shoes are wet and stuff like that, I have something dry to wear around camp. So I think these weigh like 2 ounces between the 2 of them, 2 or 3 ounces, something like that. But got those because I did a different trip and my feet were soaked and stuff, and I didn't have anything to change into. So I was like, yeah, I need to get some camp shoes. So last thing that we're gonna go into here is gonna be another Sea to Summit bag. And this is the Evac compression sack, and this thing is waterproof too. And I've had this thing loaded with gear. As a matter of fact, you might even be surprised at how much gear I have in this little bag right here because it's really small. So go ahead and unclip these here clips. I think this is a 20 liter bag. Open this up. And sleeping gear, that's what's in here. It's like sleeping stuff. So keep all that stuff dry. So right on the top, this is the Thermarest. I can't remember the actual name of this pillow, but it's a Thermarest pillow, and it's actually like a real pillow. And this thing, it actually fluffs up, so it's like really thin right now because it's been compressed down. But if you give it a couple of minutes, it'll actually loft up nice and firm. Clinch pillow, that's what it's called. It's a clinch pillow because if you pull this thing, you can clinch it up, and now you can make your pillow a lot firmer if you wanted to. But hands down, best pillow I've used, and I own a few. I've made some, I've tried everything, and this is hands down the best pillow for backpacking in my opinion here. And it's also really budgeted. I think I paid like 35 or 40 bucks for this pillow. Worth every penny. Because I have another pillow that I spent almost $100 on, and it's comfortable, but it's not comfortable like this one is. So we got my pillow there, and then for my sleeping pad, I'm gonna be bringing a sleeping pad and an inflatable one. This is a Gear Doctors lightweight. It's like 1.1 pound, 2 ounces or something like that, or 1.2 pounds. And I like this one because when you fold it out, when it's inflated, it's concaved in the middle. So when you're laying on it, you stay in the center. You're not like slipping off. So even if you camped on like a slope or anything, let's say you pitched your tent on an area that wasn't really level, this thing will still keep you on the mattress or on the pad. So it's really nice. I don't think it has an R value. I'm not worried about an R value. I sleep really hot, so All I really need is, you know, like this and a sleeping bag, and I'm good to go. I don't need much, at least for Florida here, you know, but growing up in New York and stuff, you know, I've been experienced or exposed to a lot of really cold weather and stuff. So that's just my take on this kind of stuff for me personally. But yeah, I like using that because it's pretty small. So next thing to go with that sleeping pad is going to be an inflatable pump here. This is just the FlexTail Zero. Haven't used this thing before, so I do have another pump, but I'm bringing this one because it's small, and I did have to make my own adapter for this particular pad. But like I said, I figure, you know what, after hiking a bunch of miles, I may not want to sit there and fiddle around with the little pump that comes with this sleeping pad. And to blow it up takes like 15 like full breaths, and that's insane. So I have that. And then sleeping bag liner, because my sleeping bag itself here is a down sleeping bag by Nature Hike. And this thing is good to, I think it's like 15 degrees, but its comfort rating is 40. So I have my down sleeping bag here, and I don't want to take any chances getting this thing dirty. So if I'm going to be hiking through mud and water and stuff all day, I think I'm going to use this. I'll climb into this and then get into this here, because from the research I've done, washing down sleeping bags is incredibly difficult, and you will ruin your sleeping bag if you don't do it correctly. So that's all that right there. And then the last thing that I have at the very bottom is just going to be some clothes to change into at night. So what I have here is some Nike running shorts, really thin running shorts that have like a built-in boxer kind of into it. So I can actually hike in these if I wanted to. I've got one spare or change of underwear, that's it. One extra pair of boxers. So I'm only gonna have 2 for this trip. And then I've got my Darn Tough socks in here. And now I'll be wearing these when I start the trip. And then there's just one more really thin UV t-shirt in there. So that's that, just because I don't want to go to bed necessarily dirty and ruin this thing. Now, like I said in the beginning, I'm like 99.9% sure that everything's going to stay the way it is. However, I might not bring this sleeping bag because based off the weather, we're going to be looking at upper 70s, and then at night we're going to be looking at like upper 50s. So I don't necessarily need a sleeping bag for that, honestly, guys. I'm keeping an eye on the weather. I don't have an exact date set yet, but I do have an idea on when I want to go. And I'm thinking that if I don't bring this sleeping bag, it'll save some weight, it'll save some space, and I'll just bring this here and my other really thin sheet to use for sleeping. So not 100% sure yet. All right, guys, so this is all the gear here laid out on the ground. All right, guys, we're gonna end the video here. This is under 20 pounds, this is a 19-pound loadout. And then with food and water, I'm thinking I should probably be around 30 pounds. You know, 2 liters of water plus my food. Should be just under the 30 pounds, but I think that that's gonna be good. I've packed with more weight in this pack before, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. So everything went back in there nice and neat. And what's cool is that I don't have to sit and really be too tedious about how I pack everything in there. I've got a pretty good system. It all slides right in. Roll it up, tie it up, and you're good to go. So guys, this is everything I'm bringing, and I'm really excited to do this trip, man. I am really, really excited, and can't wait. If you guys found that the video was helpful or entertaining, anything like that, do me a huge favor and hit that thumbs up for me. Share the video to help get the content out there. And like I always say, subscribe if you're new, because there's a lot of content like this and a lot of cool things that we do here on the channel that I think might be worth your time. So with that said, guys, safe, happy hiking. And until next time, I'll see you on the trail. Peace.